online bowling channel is proud to present the 2012 Teen Masters Grand Championships, being brought to you by Ebonite Bowl to Win. For more information, visit www.ebonite.com. By Dexter. And by Kegel, official lane maintenance program for the Teen Masters. And hello, friends. Mike J. Laneside welcoming you to Vanderbilt Hall inside Grand Central Terminal, where we have our preliminary round matchup. Day 2 of the Teen Masters Grand Championships. Aaron Yuratovich at 2-0, getting ready to face Greg Young at 1-1. Mike J. with the bowling guy Jason Thomas as we begin day 2 of our live coverage from New York City. Aaron Yuratovich can seal the deal and get to the boys championship match, Jason, with a victory here against Young. Young fighting to stay alive. Yeah, and these two aren't the only players that are going to be interested parties in this match. If Aaron Yuratovich would happen to win, Cameron Doyle would still be alive in the tournament. And if Greg Young would happen to win, Aaron Yuratovich may have to bowl a 3-person roll-off just to make it into the finals if Cameron Doyle were to lose his match against Jacob Ettinger later today. So quite a bit at stake here in this match. It's come down to the wire. This is the last preliminary round match for both of these players. It's possible that both could move on, but it's possible that only one will survive. It's Mike J. Laneside with the bowling guy Jason Thomas, and a special guest. Anyone that's bowled on the East Coast is aware of the name of Brian Zyzik. Brian, welcome to New York.
Hey guys, how are we doing today?
We are fantastic. We've got a full day of bowling, and we're glad that you're with us to help call the action. We've got 4 preliminary round matches coming up, starting with Young and Yuratovich. We've got 2 more girls and 1 more boys matchup to determine our championship finalists, and then we'll have a boys championship at 2 o'clock, a girls championship at 3:30, and then, Brian, get this, grand championship boy versus girl, 7 Eastern, for $64,000 college scholarship.
$64,000, that's just amazing. There was a program years ago, I believe it was called the $64,000 answer. Well, these kids today, they're bowling for $64,000 to their future.
Zach Hattori won the big prize last year right here at Grand Central Terminal, and we will spend the day with these great youth competitors and crown a boys and a girls and an overall grand champion today. So warm-up is finishing here for Yuratovich and Young.
Now I was watching some of the program yesterday, and the 4-shot roll-off in the first boys match was very interesting. A lot of strikes being thrown there, a lot of pressure shots. So today should be no different.
Best of 2 format is very interesting. We saw a lot of sudden death yesterday. Best of 2 works like this. In the event that a player would win 2 games, you get the point for the match. If the player split after 2 games, it goes to sudden death roll-off to determine the match winner. Best of 2 format. That is not an error on your screen.
No, it does breed for a lot of best ball roll-offs at the end there, but that's what makes it exciting. And I'm assuming right now that the person most interested in this match right now is standing right behind Mr. Yuratovich there, Cameron Doyle. You can see him in the background. He's eagerly awaiting the final of this match to see who wins and to see if he can stay alive.
And Jason Thomas, we've got an interesting set of math going on. We have the potential for some different roll-off opportunities today to get to the championship match. Yeah, there's an opportunity for a 3-for-1 roll-off, and that would be the event where Yuratovich wins this match and goes 3-0, and all the other players end up 1-2, and Cameron Doyle would have to win the next match against Jacob Ettinger for that to happen. 3 players would bowl a 1-game roll-off for 1 spot, and there's also a scenario in which 3 players bowl for 2 spots, and that would happen if Yuratovich would happen to lose this match to Greg Young, and Ettinger would win his match against Cameron Doyle. We'd have 3 players at 2-1. And only 2 can make the finals. So we got a 50-50 chance of having a roll-off here for the final spots. We're glad you're with us. We're live at Vanderbilt Hall inside Grand Central Terminal, 42nd and Park Avenue, Midtown Manhattan, outside the largest train station in the world. As we wrap up our warm-up, Elise Bolton also joins us as a sideline reporter on our webcast all day today. So prior to this matchup, we'll have a chance to visit with our competitors here and look for Elise's reports laneside all day today at Grand Central Terminal. Brian, final warm-up shots from the player perspective. What's that last shot when you know in your mind that you only have one or two cracks at it?
You're just really just jonesing for the show to actually start. Really start to get get your mindset ready to where you're going to make that first good shot in that first frame.
They got 1 minute to warm up, and Elise Bolton is standing by. We will have an opportunity to visit with our competitors and get a quick interview before we begin competition. Best of two coming up. Give you a rundown of the schedule today. Coming up next in our girls division, Jessica Davies will take on Melanie Hannon. And then at 11, as you mentioned, Brian, Cameron Doyle and Jacob Ettinger will do battle in best of two format. And then the girls division will conclude at noon with Ashley Dunn facing Haley Rubin. And there's no drama on the girls side. We already have our championship seeded for our final, and actually we'll have a preview of that matchup as Ashley Dunn will face Haley Rubin at noon.
Yeah, and the winner of that match, I mean, it's tough to beat someone two straight. So, I mean, for the most part, that match is just going to be about getting a feel for the lanes, getting your legs under you, and getting ready for that 3:30 championship. And
then that rematch with the girls will take place, Haley Rubin and Ashley Dunn at 3:30. And as Jason Thomas mentioned, we have a lot of things up in the air about who will be the two in the boys championship. And that'll kick off at 2 Eastern today live at Grand Central Terminal. And then the boy and the girl champion will do battle, as we mentioned, for the $64,000 college scholarship coming up tonight live at 7 Eastern time. So make sure you stock up, have plenty of Pepsi and Budweiser products, open up a brand new bag of Jack Link's beef jerky, and strap yourself in. We've got a lot of exciting action, and someone's life is going to change today as a $64,000 scholarship will be awarded to the Teen Masters Grand Champion.
Looks like Gary Beck's getting some FaceTime, Mike J, on some local news.
Yeah, Fox has been here this morning covering the event, and look for that on Fox.
It's Channel 5 in your local listings here in New York.
So practice wrapping up, and the media paying attention to this great event. You see Aaron Yuratovich getting some support. Either that or it's a complete stranger that just felt compelled to wish Aaron good luck.
You never know who's going to walk through Grand Central Terminal, and it's pretty exciting for. I'm sure it's very exciting for the kids to be bowling here.
Given the natural personality of Mr. Yuratovich, I wouldn't put it past him. Time now to go down to Elise Bolton. Elise.
Hey, thanks. I'm here with Greg and Aaron starting off our matches today. Now, Greg, you were bowling in one of the biggest venues ever in bowling history. What does it mean to you to be bowling right here in Grand Central Station?
This means the world to me. I mean, it's $64,000 on top. That's a full ride to college anywhere I want. I mean, who wouldn't want that?
Now, what would be more important to you, the scholarship or the title?
I mean, I think the scholarship would be more important, but the title is definitely there. That would be great. But $64,000, it's a big number.
Now, Aaron, with this title, you will put yourself into the boys championship. What do you think your chances are of winning?
Well, hopefully if I can get through this match, at least I have a chance at it. So hopefully I give myself a chance in this match.
Now, if you were able to win and get yourself into the grand championship and were able to take home the $64,000, can you tell us a little about what your future would be with that money?
Well, hopefully I'd go to a college. I mean, that'd be nice. But just hopefully use it towards a college and hopefully bowl in college.
Do you have any plans of where you want to go?
Wichita State, Robert Morris, Weber, I mean, all the big name schools and a couple other schools even.
All right, let's get the first match started. Back to you, Mike.
Thank you. That's Team USA's Elise Bolton working the sidelines for us today. And Yuratovich and Young. Best of two coming at you live from Vanderbilt Hall, Grand Central Terminal, New York, New York. The place so nice they named it twice, and we're off. Best of two. Young to start. Nothing like that first shot in any competition, Brian.
Any time you have to wait, you get the interviews out of the way and throwing that first ball for score, once you get that first good shot off your hand, it should be smooth sailing after that for these guys.
So here we go. Greg Young, 1-1, fighting to earn a potential berth in the boys' championship. Yuratovich doing the same. And we're off and bowling at Grand Central. 3-6-10 opener, and right on cue, the police escort outside here. Just to the left there is 42nd Street and Park Avenue. And to the right, the entrance to the largest train station in the world, this incredible venue set up here in New York City. And there you see 42nd Street and a look at Young in profile.
That's a good spare conversion there. 3-6-10, never something you want to be doing first spare out of the gate here. Very easy to chop off, especially on these patterns that they're using.
So here's Aaron Yuratovich out of Olathe, Kansas, 2-0. Also with a win here would seed himself into the championship match. Cameron Doyle also paying special attention to this match right behind him, as a Yuratovich win would keep Doyle's hopes alive and make his match much more meaningful, coming up at 11 a.m. against Jacob Ettinger. Opening shot here for Aaron. Tad out of sync, but a 4-pin, not a bad way to start.
Yeah, nice easy spare, and you can see Aaron's biggest fan behind him, standing right behind the Teen Masters logo there. Cameron's getting a good view of this match.
Yeah, he's his biggest fan because if he wins this match, Cameron's still alive in the tournament.
That's the one thing you'll see a lot of today from the players is tape changes, working with the shoes. It's, they have the air conditioning on in here, but it is a little bit touch humid today in New York. That's going to affect how much their thumb goes up and down, how much their hand swells and shrinks. Also, it's going to affect the approaches.
So spare a piece, best of two final begins our competition today live on your online bowling channel, as the Professional Bowlers Association and Killer Bee Promotions have teamed up for the second straight year to bring you this great live coverage of the Teen Masters Grand Championships. Big thanks to Gary Beck for inviting Extra Frame to the party to allow us to bring you this great coverage. The month of August very busy on Extra Frame, as we'll bring you the last event of the Senior Tour coming up next weekend from Decatur, Illinois, and then the brand new Silverado National. For more information, pba.com, Extra Frame schedule. There you go. Greg Young drills the pocket.
That was a great pitch there by Greg. Made a nice little adjustment off of the first frame shot where he went high.
Brian, what was your biggest moment as a youth player? Were you ever involved with something to this level?
Now, I believe this is the 15th year of the Teen Masters, and that brings me back to when I was 20, whatever years old. So I was not young enough to bowl the Teen Masters. As a youth bowler, I didn't really bowl too much in the way of the Coca-Cola tournaments back then. But for the most part, they had Masters tournaments on Long Island. As you see, a great shot there by Aaron, and he looks like he's still having a little problem with the approach. But in this area, the Junior Bowlers Tour was very big, especially in the Northeast, and I had a few titles in there. But there's not really anything that sticks out, at least not compared to my adult bowling career so far. So.
Mike J. Laneside with PBA Tour champion Brian Zeisig, and the bowling guys with us, Jason Thomas. And we're live in Midtown Manhattan at Grand Central Terminal. Third frame here, opening game of our best of two, and the bowler's best friend trips a 4. And an early double for Young.
Let's see if Aaron can figure out the approaches. It looks like he's got his he's got his line right now, throwing that pursuit. Let's see if he makes any more adjustments to his shoes, since he appears to be having a little problem dealing with the humidity on the approaches. Looks like he's sticking a little bit.
It's a one-lane bowling setup, manual pin spotters, manual ball returns here. The human element. And first split of the day. Yuratovich is fun to watch. He's got the mannerisms. He's learned kind of the way, and you can tell what he's up to just by the pantomiming. And he joined us for coverage yesterday as a color commentator. Did a nice job.
Yeah, he looks like he's been doing this for a long time, even though he is, I believe, 16 years old, if that's correct. He's a crafty veteran after bowling all day yesterday and being on with you guys.
He's got an interesting personality and very demonstrative and fun. And not only does he enjoy his bowling, but as we mentioned, he's an Extra Frame subscriber and pays close attention to the action on the PBA Tour as well.
As well he should if you're a junior bowler coming up.
So Young drills the rack. That's a turkey. Perfect shot there.
Yeah, Greg looks like he's pretty locked in right now. Aaron's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, Greg picked this pattern. He used the higher seed, and he got off to a quick start yesterday in his match on the long pattern. And but Yuratovich has lost his first game in both of his matches and ended up winning. So he's not phased by, and he's won on both the long pattern and the short pattern. So he's probably not going to be too phased by a quick start by Greg Young.
Still doesn't look very comfortable up there. Looks a little tight right now. Like you guys said, he's lost his first match both times. Probably just takes him a little longer to get into a groove. And he's not afraid to bowl from behind. So.
Yeah, yesterday in his first match against Doyle, lost the opener 204-191, then came back 245-171, and then won in triple overtime in the roll-off. Then in the nightcap, Yuratovich went down 220-157 against Jacob Ettinger. Came back to win game 2 and then came back to win the roll-off.
So he's used to slow starts.
They're still not fun, though, even though you get used to them.
No one likes to work that hard.
No.
Much easier to go 2 and out and just be done with it.
2-8-10, so the turkey ends.
Well, that's what happened to Greg Young yesterday. He started off with a 5-bagger and then left a couple of 2-8-10s. And he thought it was because he got quick, but both of his opponents played right of him, and it could be that he's seeing some carry down lane. And it didn't look like too bad of a shot to me. It just didn't make it around the corner.
So open frame now for Greg Young. Best of 2 game match. This is game 1.
He got 2 there.
As you look at the folks gathering, we are right in Vanderbilt Hall. It's adjacent to the main ticketing area here at Grand Central. So the folks moving to the left are going to 42nd Street for another day of work here in New York City, and the folks to the right are leaving the island and heading out all over the place. Brian, how'd you get into Grand Central today?
Actually, I took the train into Penn Station on the Long Island Railroad, and it's not a bad walk when it's this nice out in New York City in the summer. It's about 10 or 11 blocks total.
So for folks in these parts, working knowledge of the train station is a key.
Yeah. I had someone who was going to be taking me to show me exactly where I had to go, but I ended up not taking the same train as them. So as you see a 4-pin there, left by Greg. That's what Google Maps are for on your phone, so got here without a problem. A 9 spare. We got Greg Young with 105 in the 5th. And we're looking at a 28-pin match right here. Aaron Yuratovich can cut it to 18 with a strike. A little high there. He looked like he liked it off his hand. He may need to get his feet a little further left. Spare here to keep it 28 pins. You can see he's not happy with how that last ball reacted.
Yeah, it's fun to watch Yuratovich because he'll let you know what's up. Opening match here at Grand Central today, best of 2, first game. And cleans up the 3-6-10.
Not a quality shot there by Greg. He looks like he's having an issue now. Last 3 shots have gone 2-8-10. He made a slight adjustment, went 4-pin, and now he's over adjusted and left a 1-2-8-10. Counts big here too. Two pins there. We got 129. 12-pin match right now. Pin match, and Aaron really hasn't done anything to get back into it. Greg's pretty much given him the match back.
Yuratovich out of Olathe, Kansas. Class of 2014. He's a junior at Olathe East High School. He's the number 4 seed. He's 2-0. He's trying to seed himself at the championship match. He's got an opening here against Greg Young. Turned his head, didn't like it. 6-pin.
I've had more than 1 or 2 of those kind of conversations with myself as well on the approach.
What's he going? What's he working through his head?
It's one of those, the mind is willing but the body is unable right now. He's just having a little bit of a timing issue. I don't know if that was based on the first couple shots he threw where we watched he was having a little problem with the approach. Now it looks like it may have messed up his timing a little bit. But because he's been able to stay clean the last few frames, Greg Young's kind of let him back in the match here. 13-pin match after 7 frames.
In the event Yuratovich wins, he'd go 3-0. Greg Young would be 1-2, and then the possibility and the drama extends to the next boys matchup, the final preliminary matchup between Jacob Ettinger and Cameron Doyle. Then if Doyle would win, then he'd have a roll-off possibility.
Greg's got the highlight reel working here. Last 4 frames, he's gone 2-8-10, 4-pin washout, and now I would think I would rather shoot at the washout compared to the than to shoot at a 3-6-9-10 right now. Oh, that's a break there. That's a huge break there. The way Greg's right now trying to find things, if Aaron can get anything going here, put a little pressure on with a late double, Gonna make for an interesting 10th frame. It's a big shot here. These guys are really struggling right now with the carry down. Seems like they're making good shots right now. That looked like Aaron was happy with that one, just didn't get there. 2-8. Right now they're in a position where if they move a little bit right, looks like the ball's starting up a little bit too soon, going right through the face. Right now they're just grinding it out, trying to stay clean.
Yeah, this is kind of the situation where you make the small moves right, and then you make a big jump left.
You got a couple decisions you got to make there, whether you want to move right or left, or I mean, it could be in Aaron's case just maybe even a little hand position change. Maybe change his axis tilt a little bit, get a little more tilt going to get that ball finishing a little bit harder in the back end rather than going 2-8. Then all of a sudden you're in that light switch zone, and you know you can open up the lane that way.
So Greg Young up 15, game one of the best of two.
Looks like he's made a ball change. He's gone to the Cyclone.
Interesting that you mentioned that, Brian, as this Teen Masters affords players only two choices of strike ball, Ebonite Pursuit or Pursuit S combined with a Cyclone. That's it. That's your arsenal for this event.
Makes the competition very fair. Moved way in. And got it around the corner. That's a good pitch there.
So Young in command here, game one. He's 1-1, trying to go 2-1. If that happens, then you have another scenario for three players at 2-1. So we've got a couple of different three-person roll-off scenarios. Yuratovich wins and Doyle wins. You have a three-way roll-off for the final spot in the championship final. Young wins and Edinger wins. You got three players at 2-1 and a 3-for-2 roll-off. So plenty of drama on the boys' side as we join you here in New York City. Another 3-6-10 for Yuratovich. Aaron's not afraid from coming from behind. We mentioned each of his two matches thus far. Lost the first game. Survived game two in roll-offs to have his 2-0 record.
He's going to need some help from Greg to win this match. Greg's going to need to open in the 10th. Aaron's going to need to double, and that's only assuming Aaron converts here. 3-6-10, never an easy spare.
Spare for Yuratovich. Mike J. Laneside welcoming you to Grand Central Terminal. We're at Vanderbilt Hall with PBA Tour champ Brian Zeizig, and Jason Thomas, the bowling guy, is with us in the booth. Team USA's Elise Bolton is working the sidelines today as we bring you the conclusion of our preliminary round competition. And then our Grand Championships continue later today with our girls and boys championships, and then our Grand Championship between the boy and girl champion to determine a $64,000 scholarship prize. Second year that Teen Masters has been able to award that prize. Zach Hattori won it last year. I think Zach's going to put that money to good use. Tried to walk it out, didn't get the 10.
It's a good pitch, though. Good pitch by Greg. Nice and safe. Convert the 10. Get the 3 pins needed. Go on to the next match.
So as Yuratovich in the position yesterday, you'll have the 10th frame to kind of fish around a little bit and find something for game two.
You can see Cameron Doyle in the background there sweating it out.
Nothing worse as in the bowling sport to kind of have to rely on other things to happen.
Yep, yep.
Look out. Wow.
That's fair. Good thing he didn't throw his plastic ball at that one. Cyclone turned over just enough at the end there.
That was close. Now, Aaron Yuratovich yesterday had the exact same ball reaction in game one. It was highlight, and then it came to him in game two. And the thing that's tough about having just the two balls is normally The next time you'd see that pattern, you'd try a different piece of equipment or you'd change some surfaces. But you really don't have those options in this tournament because you're limited to the 2 balls.
No, but you can change a surface on those balls before practice. I'm sure Aaron was throwing that ball a little bit duller, a little bit further to the right, seeing if he can break down something he can throw at in game 2, especially if he knows going in from yesterday that his throw of the first game has not been all that great.
It's 189 for Greg Young, a winner.
This is the test portion of the match for Aaron. He's going to try a couple different things, I'm sure, here in the 10th frame. As you can see, he too is going to his Cyclone. People don't realize that this is a pretty big spare if you think about it. One extra shot, especially when you don't have 2 lanes to worry about. You only have the 1 lane to worry about. Making the spare here is big because it gets you 1 extra shot before that next game starts. He just went 3-6 after he switched to the Cyclone. Let's see what kind of move he makes here. He went back to the pursuit.
Yeah, this is the ball he threw in game 2 against Ettinger, and Bolda had a big game going and then hit his ankle and threw it in the gutter and made it a little more interesting than it should have been.
That looked like a good pitch there.
So we'll most likely see that in game 2. Final here, 189-169.
You talk about Aaron's mannerisms. Don't be surprised if you see Cameron Doyle running a few shots out behind him in this match, trying to stay alive, hoping Aaron can win this game, force a roll off. I think going from game 1 to game 2, there is a bit of an advantage finishing last in game 1 and starting off game 2. For the guy that's sitting, for right now, Greg, who's been sitting there for a good 2-3 minutes between shots, and can tighten up.
Tough start there. 3, the 6, and the 10 with the 7. Makeable split. Game 2, Yuratovich must win to force a sudden death roll-off. Young trying to even up his record with our leader at the moment, both at 2 and 1. Gave it a ride, but open frame for Aaron Yuratovich.
Wow, what a bad break.
You can hear the sounds of New York City in the background. That's another thing the bowlers will be dealing with all day today. Not just the conditions with the humidity and everything else, but the taxi cab horns and the fire engine horns and everything else going on in the back.
Special 1-lane assembly for the 2nd straight year here at Grand Central Terminal. We're in Vanderbilt Hall, named for the Vanderbilt family who built this train station and will celebrate its centennial next year in 2013. Greg Young drilled the pocket.
Good pitch there.
So now Yuratovich is going to need to dig down and find something.
See what he was doing there before with his rosin bag, with his arm there. Just shows me that he's not quite loose yet. He's not really very comfortable right now with how he's throwing the ball.
Closer. Getting closer.
If you notice that hashtag up at the right side of your screen at hashtag Teen Masters, follow along on Twitter. Some of our players have been tweeting, and we've been providing updates and photos from New York City. So if you're with us on Twitter or are away from your extra frame viewing screen for a little bit, you can still follow us wherever you're at on Twitter. Hashtag Teen Masters. So Young is up 1 game and 1 strike. Looking to even up his record with Yuratovich. If Young wins, both players would be 2-1.
Both of them would be guaranteed at least into a roll-off, pending on the Doyle-Ettinger match later.
That'll come up at approximately 11 a.m. today. Girls match coming up next. Battle for 3rd and 4th place between Jessica Davies and Melanie Hannon here next live on your online bowling channel.
Looked like Greg was a little tentative on that one. Maybe a product of his washout in 2-8-10 that he left last game. A little tentative to throw it to the spot there. Needs to stay clean here, keep his 11-pin lead. And interesting to note, he really hasn't been going to his plastic ball very much to shoot spares. Even the 3-6-10 here, a very choppable spare, he's still using the Cyclone.
Nice cover. That's the spare everyone dreads, especially with the 9-pin. So clean for Young here in game 2. He's up a game. And as we mentioned, just 2 balls allowed for strikes. The Cyclone and the Ebonite Pursuit or Pursuit S, and then a plastic ball can be carried, but it can only be used for spare shots.
That's what it's only supposed to be for, right?
Yes.
Except for the tournament you won.
Brian, of course, the winner of the last PBA Plastic Ball Championship. And there is the 3-6-10 with the 9. Ups the difficulty factor.
Also a count issue here. Even with a conversion, Aaron will be down 15 going into Greg Young's 3rd frame. It's funny you mentioned the plastic ball tournament, because when I won in 2010, they did have the one in 2011 up in Cheektowaga that Jason Couch won. And funny story from the beginning of that week when we were up there having, as you see, Aaron, they were very nice cover there. Beginning of the week, we were having dinner before the tournament started, and he made a comment. He goes, "Well, I have no chance this week. Only people that don't know where it's going can win this tournament." And then he goes out and he leads by 300 and wins the tournament. So, of course, my first response to him Sunday afternoon after the show was, "You're absolutely right. People that don't know where it's going are the only ones that can win this tournament." Shot there from Greg.
Yeah, Aaron's just got to let it go. He's got to get one to the right and see what it does.
Well, he did do the one last game. He left a 2-8, and ever since then it looks like he's been a little bit tentative to throw it in that spot again.
And I look at this great venue inside Vanderbilt Hall. Those are 50-foot walls here with inlaid marble and marble sculpture. An incredible venue right alongside 42nd Street.
That's a great shot right there. Good call, Jason.
You at least have to know if it's going to come back or not, right? I mean, you You got to try it.
Yeah, coach him out there. Let it go. Just let it go.
And if it doesn't come back, you know you're in trouble. But if it does, you're still alive.
It's another chance for Greg to take a 20-plus pin lead in this match. He had a shot in the second frame and really wasn't very aggressive with it. Let's see if he makes any kind of adjustment here. Much better pitch. Much better pitch. Bad break.
Awfully good shot there.
One thing you see on this lane here, especially constructed, the carry is not like the carry in your local center. You've got sideboards here, but there is nothing to the left or to the right of those sideboards for anything to come off the walls, really. I watched a little yesterday. I hesitated to see any messengers coming off the wall. You know, the lighter hits tend not to strike as much. You get those shaker sevens a lot more often on a lane specially constructed like this. You really need to split the 8-9 a lot more in order to strike.
Spare for Young and a 15-pin advantage. He's already up a game, but Yuratovich has a strike up and a chance to earn the first double of game number 2. Yuratovich in his previous 2 matches had lost the first game and come back in game 2 and then survived a roll-off. He's going to have to go the same road if he wants to win here, and a key shot, 5th frame. Dead flushed it. 2 pretty shots from Aaron Yuratovich, and he's just down 5 pins.
And this is about the time in both of his previous matches that he started to put it on his opponent a little bit.
Yeah, Greg needs to respond here with a good shot, another good shot. He's thrown 3 out of 4 good this match, and the last 2 have been pretty good pitches. Needs to not give Aaron any more room to catch him. Stay clean here. Keep your 5-pin advantage going into the 6th. Considering they're bowling for $64,000, these are pretty good shots these guys are throwing the last 4 or 5.
In a pretty unique venue here at Vanderbilt Hall. Grand Central Terminal. We're live on your online bowling channel. Mike J. Laneside with PBA Tour champion Brian Zeisig, and the bowling guy is Jason Thomas. Team USA's Elise Bolton is patrolling the sidelines. And we'll have an interview following this match. Girls division action coming next, as the battle for 3rd and 4th will be between Jessica Davies and Melanie Hannon.
Something to distract Aaron there. Best to put the ball down, start over, redo your pre-shot routine. Especially in this position, he can actually take a 5-pin lead here with a strike. Biggest shot of the match right now.
Well, he did say in his pre-match interview that he wanted to go to Wichita State, so.
Start early.
Shocker.
Double pun. In this case, wheat shocker. All right, 6th frame. Yuratovich to take the lead in game 2, but needs a strike.
Tentative again.
That was a huge break, knocking the 10-pin out, because that is not a split you want to shoot.
As hard as the 3-6-9-10 is, the 3-9-10 is even worse. Even this with the 3-9, the key's going to be get the ball far enough right, get that sleeper pin.
See the folks behind Aaron, commuters coming to and from Grand Central Terminal. We've got great bleacher assembly and nice crowds here assembled to watch this Grand Championship Day 2. A couple more preliminary rounds coming up, and then we'll have our Boys and Girls Championships live later today. And an open frame, and he knew it right away.
Yep, it wasn't close.
So now Yuratovich in trouble, down a game. and Greg Young can really drive a nail home.
This is where, if you're Greg, no letdowns here. Just because your opponent gave you a bit of an opening there, you want to close the door right here to this match. Strike here will put him up about 30 with the ball. Excuse me, put him up about 40 with the ball. That's a great shot.
Boom, boom.
Great shot.
So big lead control now of the match, and game 2 belongs to Greg Young. Aaron Yuratovich needs to put a string of strikes together starting right now.
Amazing how quickly one open frame can change a match. Aaron looked like he had some momentum there, had a double, could have struck to take a small lead, and now with an open frame, he's looking at being down 30. Well, Jay, he listened to you for 2 frames, got up there and let it go, and then
yeah, he just never could trust the ball. He never felt like, and I think that's just being tentative and knowing that this match could lock him into the final maybe a little bit, and playing protective. But you know, I mean, when you've got the option of being in the final guaranteed or almost virtually assured of being in the final, you got to be aggressive.
Yep. Nothing to lose there.
With a win here in game 2, Young and Yuratovich would be tied at 2-1. And then the Doyle-Ettinger match has significance because then Doyle would be eliminated from Grand Championship consideration, and the only role he would be able to play would be as a spoiler to defeat Ettinger to keep him out of a roll-off for the top 2 spots. Wow, 3 packed hits for Greg Young.
Pin lead plus the ball going into the 8th frame. Aaron's going to need all 5 here to finish out, and he's going to need Greg to give him a big opening somewhere in the last 3.
Well, he gets the first. If you can do it with a pencil, you can do it with a bowling ball. Best he can shoot is 211.
I know Greg Young going on about a 219 pace, so. Strike he'll give him a lot of breathing room. Great shot. Great pitch.
Hambone here at Vanderbilt Hall.
If you heard that sound of deflation in the background, I believe that was Cameron Doyle.
Young victory would eliminate Doyle from championship consideration. Top 2 boys out of the 4 will advance to the championship match.
Yeah, he's got to strike here. He has no chance. If he can strike out, Greg Young would still need to mark in the 9th and 10th.
I know what he's looking at.
But if Aaron can't get this one, Greg Young's going to win the match, and they'll both be tied at 2-1. 2-1 records. And then Edinger would have a chance to join them for a 3-person roll-off for 2 spots.
Where was that 2 frames ago? I believe is reading lips from Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, he's starting to realize maybe he should have been a little more aggressive earlier. He had really nothing to lose. You know, I mean, that's what you do as a top quality player at any level, junior level or pro level. You know, you beat yourself up when you have those high standards.
Key for Greg here is just throw this one and the match. Don't even put yourself in a position to wear an open in the 10th. You know, if Aaron strikes out, it's where you need even count in the 10th. You just throw this one here, just like his last 4. Get up that first ball in the 10th, just throw it right down the middle.
Young up a game, looking to close out Yuratovich here in the best of 2, 9th frame.
That's a good pitch. Cover the spare here. All he'll need is 8 first ball in the 10th. Actually 7 first ball in the 10th.
Yeah, assuming Yuratovich strikes out.
7 first ball in the 10th, even if Aaron strikes out. Seen stranger things happen.
Yes, we have. Right here in extra frame.
Don Janello years ago goes Greek church and thinks the match is over, so he just throws the ball and gets 1. And if he'd gotten 3, he would have won the title. Instead, he gets 1 and he loses by a pin.
Yeah, we saw Walter Ray get 6 when he needed 7 to make the show at the U.S. Open. And it can happen to anybody, but now Yuratovich has to strike out here in the 10th. Even forced Greg Young to show up.
Well, do all you can do, fill it up. How many times have we seen it? Another great example is Norm Duke filling it up in the U.S. Open against Mika Koivuniemi, and the unfathomable happening to Mika in the 10th frame with a missed 10 pin.
Well, I mean, this is what happened in the match last night with Yuratovich. He threw 3 perfect shots in the 10th to get into the roll-off, and then carried the Brooklyn, and Edinger left a 4-pin to lose, and that clip's actually available on YouTube, so if you happen to miss it last night, we've got a couple of highlights from the boys and the girls matches up on YouTube.
Yeah, just posted that earlier as a promo for this match. PBA YouTube channel place to be for clips. Also head over to the Team Masters channel for great clips from this event.
That's the end of this match.
That is, yep. Good shot there, but not going to be enough. Dug himself too big of a hole, and Greg Young's going to be 2-1, as well as this man, Aaron Yuratovich. They'll be tied, and now they have to hope that Cameron Doyle can not be too deflated after being eliminated from the tournament and defeat Jacob Edinger.
That's one of the tough parts about round robin play. Anybody who's been following the Olympics, same kind of thing. It's the tough part about round robin play is you get into situations where it means a whole lot to one person and not nearly as much to another, or team for that matter. But knowing Cameron, knowing how he is, I just can't see him letting up.
I mean,
I'm sure he's upset with his performance yesterday.
He doesn't want to be swept.
So 0-3
here.
As you see Greg finishing out his game, possible 239 if he can throw all 3. I just think Cameron has too much pride. I mean, you don't finish 61st in the U.S. Open as a 15-year-old. 14-year-old. Excuse me, it was 14 back then, but
he's still not 15.
It's crazy.
I mean, he still could be bowling the 14 and under division.
That's amazing. Amazing talent he has.
I mean, 3 years ago in this tournament, he was a semifinalist, lost to Zakatori. And last year made a deep run into the tournament as well, final 8.
Big finish in the 230s for Greg Young. He will play a factor, and the Doyle-Ettinger matchup, the only role Doyle can play at this point is a spoiler. If he beats Ettinger, he would eliminate Ettinger. And then you'd have Young and Yuratovich that would meet again for the boys' championship. That Doyle-Ettinger match is coming up approximately 11 a.m. this morning, and will decide the fate of our championship seeding. In the event 3 players would be 2 and 1, there would be a 3-player roll-off. Everybody would bowl 1 game, and the top 2 advance to the championship match. So 235 for Greg Young.
That was one of the more impressive games I've seen so far the last 2 days. 235 very easily could have been 260, 270, ring 10.
Greg Young wins the match, 235 to 200, and Melanie Hanna 169. Young improves his record to 2 and 1. Yuratovich is also at 2 and 1. Coming up next, preliminary round competition in the girls division. The 3 seed Jessica Davies will face the number 4 seed Melanie Hannon. Coming up in approximately 10 minutes. Welcome to the Team Masters Grand Championships. Admission is free. Take a seat. Action in the girls division will continue in approximately 10 minutes. Thank you.
So we'll recondition our lanes, and girls division 3rd and 4th place match coming up next. Jessica Davies and Melanie Hannon. For Brian Zeisig and the bowling guy Jason Thomas, this is Mike J. Laneside. We will be back to Grand Central Terminal, and we invite you to watch coverage all day today from New York City, the continuation of the Grand Championships of the 2012 Team Masters.